In this section of the communication training, I'm going to cover the overall communication process and all the objectives under each area of the process that you need to accomplish in order to move a contact from, say, the first meeting, whether that be an online contact or somebody you meet off the street, friend or family member, all the way to the close, whether it be product or business. So, the first step in the process is the connect step. The connect step is where you actually make a connection to the contact that you're talking to. Now, obviously, if it's somebody that you know, that's going to be very quick. If it's somebody you meet off the street, it can take a very short time, depending on the personality type. Sometimes you meet people that within seconds, they're like your best friend. Others, it might take an hour of conversation before they open up to you. Same thing with an online contact. Basically, when you know somebody, generally it goes pretty quickly. When you don't know somebody, normally it takes some time, but just understand it doesn't always take time. It could be somebody that opens up very quickly. So the point of the connect step is to get somebody to open up first. The next step is the develop step. And the develop step is probably one of the most important steps in the communication process. And I think it's the thing that people miss the most in network marketing. Now, what do I mean? Well, a lot of times you'll be talking to a contact and they'll say something that makes their situation an opportunity for your business, product, or service. And people go straight to their business, product, or service, and it doesn't really feel right. And if you've ever been building the business and you started talking about your company, your product or service, and you felt like, man, this just doesn't feel right, you probably didn't develop the contact. And really the reason why this happens is there's a million training systems out there, training books on sales and communication. They're everywhere. Even in this industry, there's a ton of it. And one of the things that I notice is they don't really address that gap that's created between the situation that comes up from the contact and your company or product. And what do I mean by gap? Well, if you think of your contact's opportunity, them saying something that might be relevant to what you have to offer, you think of them standing on one side of the river, and on the other side of the river is your company, product, or service. Obviously, you have to cross that river. Most people just throw them in the river and hope they swim. Most of them sink. And that's why it doesn't work out too well for people. My idea is, why not build a bridge? You develop the contact so they have an understanding of how your situation can help their situation, and therefore bridging the gap between where they're standing on one side of the river and where your company, product, or service is on the other side of the river. So let me give you an example. In my personal company, I actually help a lot of people with allergies because I'm in a nutrition company. Why? That's actually what my company helped me with. I had really bad allergies, and my company has various products that can help that. So when somebody starts telling me about their allergies, what I would call amateur network marketers, what they do is they'll go, oh, well, I'm with this company and they got this really great product and it can really help you with your allergies. And it's like it doesn't even connect with the person. And if you've ever had a conversation where something just didn't feel right while you were saying it, or didn't feel right when you saw their reaction, that's probably why you didn't develop them. So what do? I provide information that doesn't discuss my company, product, or service, that actually educates them and how nutrition can assist allergies, can assist your body in combating the symptoms of allergies. So once they read that, the next logical question is, okay, well, what kind of nutrition do you do? And then it's logical. Then I can move on to my company, product, or service. That's developing the contact. The next step in the process is the introduction. I call it the introduce. The introduce is where you talk about your company, product, or service. Now on the business side, you're talking about the business side of your company. On the product side, service side, obviously you're talking about the appropriate product or service you have to offer that can help the person. Now the reason why, as you can see these steps, connect, develop, introduce, is you need to understand that you don't do the introduce until the contact is ready to be introduced to your company, product, or service. So that's why we have the develop step, and that's why we have the introduce step. The next step is the follow-up. And the follow-up is probably like any other sales system, any other communication system, book, whatever. This is where you follow up on information that you've provided in the introduce step. What questions do they have? Are they ready for a close? Do you need to provide more information? That's what the follow-up is all about. And this is probably the most critical step in the communication process and where most people fall apart. And I don't know why that is. People often send information and don't follow up on it. I don't know if it's because they don't know, whether they're afraid to talk to the person after, whatever. The point is, you got to do this step. It's the most important step. Once you determine in the follow-up that the contact is ready for the final step, that final step is close. And the close is where you ask for the sale. So you're basically trying to figure out, okay, do you want to do the business or not? You know, do you want the product or service I have to offer? Sometimes here you'll also answer questions just like in the follow-up.